Darian's with us. Darian came down this afternoon. Maz and I started the show with it. 2 more years in Riderville for the West's most outstanding lineman, Logan Furland. When you hear something like that as a quarterback, like fist pumps, jump up and down, celebrate, a big one to get back for another 2.
Absolutely. Whenever you can secure your anchors up front, and especially the best lineman in the league, man, it's huge. So if I'm Trevor or any of the other quarterbacks, I'm ecstatic. Great job by J.O. for getting this deal done and locking him in and just making sure that one of the anchors of your old lineman is there for the future.
When you were here, right, Furland is a local guy, Regina Thunder, Prairie Junior football. When you were here and you had some of the local guys as well on your team, like how special is it? What does that mean to have these local ties to the team in Saskatchewan?
Look, it's amazing for the community. I mean, these are guys who were born and raised in Regina and Saskatchewan. They're known in the community already. So for them, and so many other kids look up to these guys, right? So once these guys make it to the Riders locker room, they can now go back to their high schools or their middle schools and talk to these kids. And the kids can really relate to these guys because he was one of them. So it's just huge for the locals because, you dream big as a kid. And when you can see one of your own make it and he's able to play for your hometown team, then it's always good. And it's good for the fans. He's going to bring a group of fans himself each and every week. And if the more and more local guys you can get on the team, then the more seats you can fill in the stadium.
I was saying to Barney earlier, it's a nice trend, Darian, that some of these, what J.O.'s been able to do is lock guys up long term. Saskatchewan hasn't always been the most attractive free agent market, and then we would get some guys and they would come and they'd play well, and Rider Nation, it was all good, but then they would move on. You're kind of seeing a little more and more of this, and I like this. And if this trend continues or whatever. Now, you were a longtime Rider. Did you ever want to reach out to some guys and say, come on, man, just stick around. I know you got to do what's good for you and your family or your business, but we got something going here. This is kind of nice because it's bucking the trend.
You know what? Winning solves everything. And I think if you can build a winning culture and, you can kind of attract guys away from teams who don't so much have that culture, then, you're in the right position. So, when I was there during my time, fortunately, we were always winning. We had an environment that was very inviting. We had a veteran group. So we had everything that it took to bring in free agents and bring in other guys and make them comfortable. Now, if you're coming from a city where you like to have fun and, you want to be out in the nightlife and things like that, then, Regina's not the place for you. But if you're just focused on football and want an environment that's football focused, then, it's the perfect place for you.
Could you imagine the content Just Bins would have if we did get a player like that loved to be out 5 nights a week? And then scoring touchdowns on Sundays? Oh, I know.
No, there have been a lot of guys who've been able to do it now. I mean, some guys are just naturally party goers, right? So it doesn't matter what city they're in, they're going to find something fun to do. And then they'll come out on game day and just make it happen. So some guys are just naturally blessed like that.
I don't know what you heard and what you made out about the salary cap infringements, especially with the BC Lions.
Infringements. That's mild.
Amar Doman is he's e-transferring, some major money.
Yeah. You know what? How can you blame him though? I mean, the Grey Cup's in your building. You want to change the culture. I think he said on day one when he took over as owner that there was no expense that would be too big for him in order to bring a Grey Cup back to Vancouver. And, especially a Grey Cup year, Nathan Rourke's coming back, to have him and VA on the same team with both of them being paid like top-tier quarterbacks, you knew that they were pretty close to going over the salary cap. But, like I said, he was going all in. The Grey Cup was in Vancouver, and you can't blame him, man. You love, as a player, you would love to be playing for an owner who doesn't care about the cost and doesn't hold back any expenses and does everything it takes to win. And also, I'm pretty sure with the 50 Cent concert and the LL Cool J concert and some of the things that he's doing before these games, that expense won't be too much for him.
But on the football side of things, if there was ever a year to tank in the CFL, the Calgary Stampeders timed it perfectly, because here's the fallout from all of this. And this makes me a little mad to be like, really? Do they need this? They're going to get 4 first-round draft picks. Now, I'm sure some of those picks are going to pay dividends this year, but then years down the road where it's going to be one of those, but remember when they had the 4 first-round draft picks, it almost sets them on an uneven playing surface. And once again, only in the CFL does something weird. People wanted those picks voided, but the Stamps get them. And if you're Dave Dickinson, now it's kind of like, all right, everyone's had a chance to kick us in the ribs. Watch this. I don't like it. I don't know what kind of feeling you get, but I don't like it.
You know what? Rules are rules. And I mean, I've never heard of or seen anything like this happen in the league in my time. And, I'm sure some other guys who feel the same way, but rules are rules. And when they get broken, they have to, there's consequences. And the Calgary Stampeders just so happen to be in the perfect situation to receive the benefit from the BC Lions breaking the rules. So, kudos to them, I guess, for tanking and finishing with the worst record in the league. But you know what? Teams want to win now. And I think Dave Dickinson, he cares about these picks, but at the same time, he's trying to make sure that he doesn't finish in last place. And I don't think that these draft picks will be the end all in their season and will really even produce enough that will show up enough on the win and lose columns.
Okay, let's go to the CFL negotiation, the Neg List. And late last week, or was it on the weekend here, that Chase Claypool, supposedly someone's been in contact with Chase Claypool's camp, but from the Riders. But maybe, and of course, I just love the comments, social media, everywhere, people losing their minds, like it's happening tomorrow. Like there's an announcement tomorrow at Robin's Donuts on Vic and Albert that he's here. And then it's the other people that it's like, he's a cancer. We don't need it. Like these people have played with him before. Like they've been in the locker room with him. It's like, this is hilarious. How do you think that would go down? And what are we really talking about here, Darian? Is it maybe getting in contact with his agent to say, hey, just so you know, if things don't pan out, here's my number?
Yeah, I think he's going to give it one last shot. I think, it's the perfect chance for him to go work out for NFL teams. They're still evaluating these college guys, these pro days, all these things are happening right now before the draft. So I think he needs to weigh every opportunity he can down south to see if that can work out for him. But with him being 26 years old and playing a skill position, Father Time is always on the side of Father Time. And, you have to think about that as you look at furthering your career. So I think that he has the right people in this corner. They'll let him know that, look, if this NFL opportunity doesn't work out, then if you really want to play football, you need to go to the CFL. And it also depends on what type of shape he's in. I mean, is he in NFL shape? Is he, big and bulky? I think the last time he weighed, I think I saw he was about 235 pounds or something like that. So, you can't be that big and be a productive receiver in the CFL. So it just depends on what type of shape he's in. Even though he's 6'4", 235 is not a huge guy, but to play in the CFL, that's carrying a lot of weight around for a receiver. So it just depends on him, his mindset, where he is with furthering his career. But if I'm the Riders, I'm definitely, just watching every single move and seeing what's happening because, if he has any gas left in the tank, he could definitely help the team.
Speaking of the Neg List and the Dallas Cowboys, after we spoke last week, it came out that Trey Lance was added to the Riders Neg List. Now, he's a Dallas Cowboy, but he doesn't play because you got Dak Prescott there. Yeah. And I thought the interesting thing, and I'm like, we got to get Darian's take because many have tried, very few have succeeded, transferring skills from the American game to the Canadian game. It looks easy from the outside, and why not? Got great college game tape. Could Trey Lance, do you think he has what it takes? Could he be successful in the CFL?
You know what? this is going to sound crazy, but I honestly think that he would be a better CFL quarterback than NFL quarterback. I just think that the system he played in college, it was a wide open 4 and 5 receiver system. Same thing you're going to do in the CFL. But when he got into camp with San Francisco, and I think Dallas, I was reading some articles from Dallas in the past training camp for them, it's just that he struggles with these tight window throws, with the tight coverage of these NFL DBs. And, he needs to be on a bigger field where he can run around, use his athleticism a little bit, as well as be able to have these bigger windows. So I really think that the CFL game is tailor-made for him, just watching him play in college. And you can see the struggles in the NFL because no one's willing to really give him a shot at any significant playing time. So I think that the CFL game is tailor-made for him. And, it's going to take a lot of convincing for him to come up because of the money that he's made and that he's probably still making. But if he really wants to play and still be a star because he's so young, I think the CFL will be the way to go.
Darian Durant's joining us. It's for Campbell Safety Consulting every Monday. So when you talk about that, and I was wondering this the other day too, and Maz and I talked about it after it was released, do guys still think about the whole Warren Moon thing or the Doug Flutie thing or maybe even Jeff Garcia in that respect? Or is the game changed? Is that all kind of shipped down? Or is that still part of the branding, maybe, for lack of a better term?
You know what? I think those days are long gone, and I'll tell you why. Because back in the day, a guy that's 6 feet tall, 5'11", a Jeff Garcia, Warren Moon was a little bit taller. With me standing next to him, you see that he's about 6'1", 6'2". But with Jeff Garcia and all these shorter quarterbacks, Doug Flutie, they're getting these opportunities to go straight to the NFL. Kyler Murray at 5'9" is the number 1 overall pick. And, you just see, Malik Willis, these different guys who are right at 6 feet or 5'11", they're getting these opportunities. So guys don't need to come to the CFL in order to show that they can play professional ball before getting that opportunity in the NFL. They're getting it now because of all the NFL is actually adapting their offenses to college offenses. The NFL is more spread, more read option, more quick throws, the same thing that you're doing in college. 15, 20 years ago, a short quarterback was unheard of as far as being able to be a first-round pick, let alone starting for an NFL franchise. So guys are getting the opportunities now, and the CFL is no longer needed for a quote-unquote stepping stone for the shorter quarterbacks.
Julian Edelman talks a lot about when he was with the Patriots and Tom Brady, they would throw in the offseason, that Tom liked to put in the work. I want to get your thoughts on what you think of that, because today there's tape out there, Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf throwing. It looks like at the field at Cal, it's just the two of them out there. Be honest. When you're just playing catch with these guys, can you tell anything if there's chemistry, not chemistry? Because it's not the first time you've thrown a football. It's not the first time he's ever caught a football. Are they making too much of it? Like, what could possibly come out of today with Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf?
But when you have so much speculation about Aaron Rodgers going to the Pittsburgh Steelers and him actually working out with the Pittsburgh Steelers receiver, I think you can kind of, where there's smoke, there's fire, so to speak. So I can kind of see where that would be in this instance. But a lot of times these guys live in the same areas, your Californias, your Floridas, the places where it's warm in the off season and they can throw. And there's guys from, pretty much every team in the NFL, and they're all out there working out together. So in that case, you wouldn't put too much on it. But when there's so much talk about Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh and DK Metcalf already being there, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire, and I could, pretty much see this coming.
And for the record, Tom used to fly Edelman, Amendola, Gronk to his private little football field up in the mountains in Big Sky, Montana. Look up the Yellowstone Club. It's their private ski hill, private golf course. It's the other way.
Oh,
it's the way that the other half lived. Do you know about that, Darian?
Yeah, I've seen the Tom Brady doc, man. It's it documents that stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
The Yellowstone Club, yeah. And then Aaron and DK are at the gym or at the field and wherever. Okay, Did you watch any UFL this weekend?
I didn't, man. I'm sitting here trying to build my office and get this thing going, and I haven't had a chance.
Well, attendance.
You weren't the only one that didn't watch the UFL this weekend. Don't worry, don't feel bad.
I don't get it. Like maybe give us up here, why they keep trying this spring football thing. Like average week one attendance was 8,466, and that's like sold seats, corporates. Yeah. Arlington was the big one, 10,000, just over 10,000, which I saw that and I'm like, there was a lot of people that got tickets that didn't go. And then Memphis was 4,300, and let's say there was maybe 3,000 in. Like there were senior hockey games in Saskatchewan this weekend with more people, and that's not even being facetious. Why do they keep trying to make this work, Darian? What don't we know?
Well, I mean, football is the biggest sport in the United States, and when you look at how big high school sports are, you're going to get 5,000 to 10,000 fans at a high school game, and then you just look at how huge college football is, and we all know about the NFL. So, people just look at it as an opportunity. There's so many guys who are talented that get left behind, fall through the cracks, may have grade issues or family issues or whatever that are just, diamonds in the rough that don't get an opportunity. So I'm thinking that, people with money like The Rock and these other entertainers and investors, they want to just keep the game of football going for the average U.S. fan. And I mean, look, 10,000 fans doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. And I guess when you're looking at it from a business perspective, it may not be something that will turn millions and millions of dollars, but you still have thousands of eyes that are interested in a football game. So, I wouldn't just look at it as a negative. These guys still have an opportunity to go to the NFL. They're getting their film. There are leagues overseas. There's Canada. And, there's NFL practice squads. There are so many opportunities for guys to, reach for their goals and play football at the highest level. And the UFL is just one of those. And with football being as huge as it is in the States, it just gives guys and it gives fans an opportunity to watch and play football in the spring.
I know when I was flipping channels yesterday, the hockey game was out of reach. For whatever reason, NASCAR wasn't on TV. And I'm not the biggest NASCAR fan, but it wasn't on. It's still March. I can't watch baseball. I can't watch Blue Jays baseball. So I'm like, the UFL's on. And I was watching, I was like, all right, I get it. And the other thing too, and you make a good point, Darian, they have national TV contracts on Fox and NBC and stuff. So whether or not people are showing up, The Rock and his connections, they have the TV ties that maybe that's all that it kind of takes. And keep in mind, if you were watching some CFL games last year on the CBS Sports Network down in the States, when they would do the pan of the crowd and see all those empty seats, some people think, that some days it looked like a UFL game. Stamps fans were talking directly to you for not showing up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hey, and I get it. Football's football. And if you're a football fan, maybe it's not the NFL, but it's something. And in late March, I'll take it.
Yeah. And another thing, I think that if they were to get some smaller venues, maybe a 12,000 seat stadium instead of a 30,000 seat stadium, then it wouldn't look so bad. But like I said, 8,000, when you get down to 4,000 for a professional league, then yeah, I get it. Like that's pretty low. But 10,000 fans during the springtime to come see a football game, pretty much a team of unknown guys to the regular eye, then that says a lot. There's a lot of people that are interested in the game, and it shows.
I'm curious what commercials were running during this, Maz. Was there a lot of Flex Seals, a lot of Slack Shop commercials, some Amway?
There was a few 1-800 number commercials. There was the odd vehicle commercial in there, or whatever. Lots of promos about what was coming up later that night on TV.
For sure.
So,
for sure, injury lawyers. because hey, you never have too
your usual 2 a.m., 3 a.m. commercials,
yeah, injury lawyers for sure.
Hey,
all right.
the Morgan & Morgan law firm, 1-800-MORGAN.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you don't pay unless they win, all right? It's as simple as that, Darian. If you get into a fender bender, you don't pay unless they win.
And
there you go.
Hair growing supplements and male enhancement, all guaranteed. Those are the ones that were on there. All right, doubles. Let's have a good week, and then we'll chat with you again next Monday.
All right, guys. Sounds good.